4 hours ago, Tan Songyun says just friends. Shukai fans left heartbroken. The press room went silent. No one expected her to say it. Not like that. Not now. 4 hours ago, Tan Songyun, still visibly fragile from her recent ICU panic and recovering from the accident that nearly claimed her life, stunned reporters during a live-streamed interview when she was asked the question everyone had been afraid to ask: "Are you and Shukai more than just friends?" She smiled. But it wasn't a warm smile. It was the kind of smile that trembles beneath 1,000 buried memories. The kind of smile that shields heartbreak with practiced calm. And then she said it. "Shukai and we're just friends." The words came quietly, but they dropped like thunder across social media. Within seconds, the clip had been clipped, captioned, and dissected by millions. Within minutes, the backlash began. And within the hour, it was clear. Shukai's fans weren't just shocked, they were shattered. The moments before the storm. In the hours leading up to the now infamous interview, Shukai had been at Tan Songyun's side. Their last public appearance, exiting the hospital together after her second panic episode in just 2 weeks, was everything fans had dreamed of. His arm around her, her hand tightly gripping his, both wearing matching hoodies. Whispers of a secret engagement had already begun spreading like wildfire. There was hope again. After months of silence. After accidents. After cryptic hospital updates. After that haunting voice message she supposedly left for him: "I can't do this alone." Their quiet closeness outside the hospital doors reignited what everyone thought had been lost. So when Tan Songyun agreed to the exclusive sit-down interview, fans expected a love story. A confession. A soft moment that would finally confirm what everyone had felt since their on-screen chemistry first sparked something too real to ignore. Instead, they got heartbreak. "I wanted to believe her. But her eyes said something else." Those were the words of Yue, a well-known Tan Songyun fan blogger who's followed the actress since her earliest dramas. In a now viral breakdown of the interview, she points out the moment Tan paused, her eyes flickering toward the off-camera crew before answering the question. She wasn't being honest, Yue insists. That wasn't a no. That was fear. And she's not alone. Many believe the just friends statement wasn't a rejection of love, it was a protection. A desperate attempt to shield someone. Maybe Shukai. Maybe herself. Maybe both. Some are even pointing to the rumors that Tan Songyun's management team, rattled by her hospitalizations and ongoing mental health recovery, had issued a strict no-dating clause in her new contract. Others believe the pressure from Shukai's sponsors may be forcing the silence. But what really ignited online fury was Shukai's response. Or lack of one. His "not okay." Concern grows for Shukai. Shukai was spotted just an hour after the interview aired. Fans didn't even recognize him at first. Wearing a mask, sunglasses, and a hoodie pulled over his head, he exited a private clinic alone. But what caught attention wasn't the disguise, it was his posture. Slumped. Slow. Like the air had been knocked from him. And he wasn't walking to his car. He was walking away from it. Aimless. As if trying to escape everything. "I've never seen him like that," one onlooker posted on Weibo. He didn't look angry. He looked destroyed. An anonymous source later confirmed he had checked into a private wellness facility just before midnight. Though no official statement has been made, several insiders claim Shukai has suffered from severe anxiety episodes since the accident, especially following long filming nights and Tan Songyun's hospital admission. The timing, fans say, is not a coincidence. A silent goodbye or a desperate cover-up? Back online, theories abound. Some fans believe Tan Songyun's just friends comment was a last-minute decision forced by family. Others say it's all part of a long-planned rollout for a film announcement, a manufactured break to spark attention. But those closest to the duo are hinting at something much more human. "They've been through hell together," one former assistant whispered to a media outlet. "More than anyone knows. The accident wasn't just physical for them. It broke something in both of them. They've been holding each other together since." When asked why Tan Songyun would deny the relationship publicly, the assistant's reply said everything. Maybe she's tired of having to explain her love to a world that only wants to tear it apart. Flashbacks of a night that changed everything. For those who remember, it all began with that late-night shoot. A night that ended in chaos, flashing sirens, and Tan Songyun barely conscious in Shukai's arms. A night where emergency rooms became confession chambers, where whispered apologies replaced promises. She wasn't supposed to make it. And Shukai? He hadn't stopped blaming himself since. Sources say he refused to leave her bedside for 3 straight days. That he cancelled 2 international shoots without explanation. That he even clashed with his management team over being by her side rather than returning to work. It wasn't just loyalty. It was love. And it was written in every trembling look he gave her when she finally woke up. But now, months later, that love has been publicly stripped of its name. Just friends. As if the nights in the ICU never happened. As if the world hadn't already seen what they were trying to hide. Fans fight back. The reaction online has been anything but calm. #WeBelieveXShukai trended on Weibo within minutes of Tan's interview airing. By morning, #JUSTFRANDSMYLIFE trended in multiple countries. TikTok edits of the couple's most tender moments have resurfaced with heartbreak anthems and captions like "You don't look at just friends like that." Some fans are even organizing an online vigil, a digital event to honor the truth they can't say out loud. Meanwhile, others are launching campaigns demanding freedom for their idols to speak their truths without fear of management or societal pressure. But the most heart-wrenching reaction came from a letter written by a fan who once met both stars at a charity event. She posted, "If you're protecting each other, we understand. But please don't think we only want your happy endings. We stood with you through the ambulance lights. We'll stand with you through the silence too." So what now? Neither Shukai nor Tan Songyun have commented since the interview aired. Both have reportedly cancelled upcoming interviews. Their agencies remain tight-lipped. And fans are left staring at 2 broken halves of what once looked like an unbreakable bond. But those who have followed this story since the beginning know this isn't the end. Because even if she said just friends, her voice cracked when she said it. Even if he hasn't spoken, his absence screams louder than any denial. And because love like theirs, love forged in trauma, love wrapped in whispered ICU prayers, love that held on when everything else collapsed, doesn't vanish because of a press conference. So fans wait. Watching. Hoping. Believing. Because maybe the real love story isn't the one they were ready to announce. Maybe it's the one still being written in silence. And maybe, just maybe, that silence will one day speak louder than any headline ever could. He was watching. And he froze. Shukai's silent reaction to just friends is more devastating than words. Shukai didn't move. Not when the interviewer asked the question. Not when Tan Songyun laughed nervously. Not even when the words finally fell from her lips, each syllable carrying more weight than she could have imagined. "We're just friends." The live stream ended. The staff dispersed. Phones buzzed with headlines. Screenshots flew across fan group chats like wildfire. But Shukai sat still. Frozen. His phone still in his hand. Still showing the last frame of her smiling face. No one in the room dared to speak. He was in his manager's office, far from the set, watching in private, on purpose. Not because he didn't want to support her, but because he knew something like this might happen. He just didn't expect it to hit this hard. Was I just imagining everything? His hand shook as he placed the phone down. Slowly. As if afraid it might shatter. His assistant, Xiao Lin, tried to break the silence. She was probably under pressure, right? Maybe they made her say. "Stop," Shukai said, his voice hoarse, almost unfamiliar. Everyone froze. Shukai wasn't just silent. He looked betrayed. Wounded. His eyes were red, but not from tears yet. There was a haunting stillness in them. As if a dam inside him had cracked, but hadn't burst. He whispered to himself more than to anyone else in the room. "I held her hand in that hospital hallway. I watched her struggle to breathe, fight to live. I stayed in that ICU waiting room every night for 5 days straight. I lied to the media for her. I carried the guilt when the accident leaked. The room was suffocating now. And she calls me just a friend." Flashback. The secret nobody knows. Only a few days before the interview, Shukai had left a private letter at her hospital bedside. He hadn't told anyone, not even his manager. It was short, written in his shaky handwriting after a long night of panic and no sleep. It read, "If I had to lose everything just to keep you alive, I would. Don't tell the world anything yet. Not until you're ready. I'll wait. I'll always wait." He didn't expect her to respond. He didn't even expect her to read it that night. But he hoped her silence meant they were on the same page. That their quiet agreement to hide things from the public was mutual. Protective. Sacred. But now, just friends. Those two words weren't just a label. They felt like a slap. Like a rewrite of everything they had endured. The internet explodes. Fans immediately picked sides. #Tan Songyun just friends. #Shukai heartbroken. #they deserve better. Some thought Tan Songyun was trying to protect their privacy. Others thought she had moved on. Many simply cried. One tweet went viral in minutes. "If this is what just friends looks like, then I never want to fall in love." Another, more vicious post read, "She used him, let him carry her pain, then erased him with 2 words. Shukai saw none of it. He wasn't scrolling. He wasn't tweeting. He wasn't even home. He was driving alone. I needed to breathe. But I couldn't." Later that evening, his team would confirm that Shukai drove himself to the same hospital where Tan Songyun had been admitted just weeks before. But this time, he wasn't there as a visitor. A nurse spotted him sitting alone in the hospital chapel, face in his hands, breathing unevenly. She recognized him instantly, but she didn't say a word. She simply sat on the bench behind him and waited. Minutes later, he collapsed forward, gasping. "I can't breathe," he whispered. "I need air. I can't breathe." Panic attack. The same thing Tan Songyun had suffered. Irony, fate, or something more, no one could tell. They moved him to a quiet room. The same one Tan Songyun had once stayed in. It hadn't even been reassigned yet. When Shukai realized where he was, he almost laughed. But it wasn't laughter. It was something cracked. Something defeated. And then, for the first time since the accident, he cried. A hidden truth surfaces. At the same time, back at her hotel, Tan Songyun was breaking too. The second the camera cut after her interview, she ran to her room, locked the door, and screamed into her pillow. "Why did I say it like that? She hadn't meant it. Not like that." Her manager had warned her moments before the interview. "The studio doesn't want any romantic scandal right now. Just play it safe. Keep it professional. Say you're friends." She thought she could. But when the question came, her heart stopped. The truth was, she hadn't stopped dreaming about that hospital hallway. About Shukai sitting next to her, brushing her hair back, whispering, "You're safe now." The truth was, she had read the letter. Twice. 3 times. Folded it into her pillowcase. And now he probably hated her. She picked up her phone to call him. But there was no answer. Again. And again. And again. Ending scene, the door that didn't open. Hours later, Shukai stood outside her hotel room. Hoodie up. Mask on. No security. He raised his hand to knock. Stopped. Lowered it. He didn't know what to say. Not yet. Not like this. Just then, from inside, he heard something. A soft cry. Her voice. He stepped back. He couldn't knock. Not while he was still this broken. But he left something behind. Another note. This one shorter than the first. "When you're ready to talk, I'll still be here. Unless just friends means I shouldn't be." He slipped it under her door. Then turned and walked away. Unaware that she was already on the other side, holding the first letter, crying in silence.